You know what's funny? Watching a bunch of pampered, pandering Democrats try to get up after they've been sitting on their knees for 10 minutes. You know what's also funny? Watching Jerry Jabba the Hutt Nadler have a death match with his mask. Oh, they never fail to disappoint. The Democrats once again utterly and completely humiliate themselves as their groveling theatrics become the object of mockery and ridicule. In this video, we're going to take a look at the latest pandering political stunt, and we're also going to take a look at the real reason why the Democrats are going overboard, bending backwards to appease Black Lives Matter activists. Here's a hint. Blacks are deserting the Democrats in droves. You are not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here with you. Wonderful to be with you as always. This is your daily white pill of encouragement as we celebrate together the inevitable collapse of left-wing globalism and the unstoppable rise of a new conservative age. If you haven't already done so, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. You're not going to want to miss a single video where we analyze current events and analyze some super awesome conservative trends so that you can live in the present in light of even better things to come. So let's begin with our video chat question of the day, shall we? Do you think that the Black Lives Matter movement is politically hurting the Democrats? Let us know what you think in the comments section below. Do you believe that BLM, the Black Lives Matter movement, is indeed hurting politically the Democrats? Because we're going to take a look at not only the ways in which the latest Democratic political fail was mercilessly mocked as it should have been, but we're also going to see how antics like these are more and more falling on deaf ears, and they're simply not going to be able to save the Democrats from themselves. But first, let's give a huge shout out to the sponsor of this video, and that's collagen, available at healthwithsteveturley.com. Now, if you don't know, collagen's fascinating. It may be the closest thing that we'll ever have to a real fountain of youth. Many health experts now agree that consuming collagen is crucial as it gets to renew and revitalize how you look and you feel. Taking collagen can regularly can revitalize your body. It can make your skin, bones, and even your hair feel more healthy and youthful. Now, if you're interested in learning more about collagen and getting your own supply, then go and visit healthwithsteveturley.com or just click on the link below and check it out. I think you'd be very glad that you did. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. Now, fresh off of the worst weeks of rioting our nation has seen in decades, the Democrats decided to bring their pandering politics to a whole new level by staging a stunt in the nation's Capitol building. Now, just before they had a press conference announcing a series of police reforms in response to the death of George Floyd at the hands of a Minneapolis police officer, they kneeled for nearly 9 minutes in a moment of silence. Well, most of them kneeled. Jerry Nadler has a little problem with kneeling, so he stood. He stood in silence for nearly 9 minutes. And again, to make sure that the pandering was complete, they all adorned themselves with African Kente cloth scarves. Now, what precisely African Kente cloth scarves has to do with anything here is not quite clear outside of a further pandering to distinctively Black Lives Matter version of identity politics. But alas, it did not go unnoticed on social media, and the stunt as a whole was brutally mocked. One person tweeted out what I think is the rather obvious stares in cultural appropriation. Here's another one. Okay, for your visual entertainment, here is the Pandering Pelosi Actors Guild with their rendition of We Care About the Black Community, featuring their hit song, We'll Love You Till November. So true. David Limbaugh, the brother of Rush Limbaugh, he tweeted out, so good. How could anyone, let alone the minority community, trust the sincerity of these pandering demagogues? And Jerry Nadler's standing stunt, his inability to actually kneel, of course, did not go unnoticed. One person wrote, Congressional Democrats take a knee with the exception of Jerry Nadler, who would not have been able to get back up. Or can't stop laughing because Jerry Nadler is the same height as everyone else kneeling. Hey man, I can relate to that a little bit. Back off, dude. I'm 5'5", I'm 5'6" on a good day. So, regardless, this was on the part of the Democrats obvious pandering, political pandering of the most pathetic and cringeworthy kind. And again, it's a glorious example of just how partisan our mainstream media, our Marxist media, has become. Remember, just a few days back, they were excoriating President Trump for what they called a cheap photo op when he stood holding a Bible in front of the historic church that rioters burned across from the White House. The Marxist media didn't care that the church had been vandalized or partially destroyed. They were fixated on Trump having the gall to arrange a photo op in the midst of all this chaos that they, the media, were actively attempting to instigate. Now, how dare the president try to appeal to his white evangelical base while we're trying to get these riots going? Now, of course, the media pushed the now debunked hoax that police dispersed a peaceful crowd protesting in front of the church with tear gas just before President Trump came walking out. But you'll notice no such hysteria, no such skepticism, no scorn, no ridicule, no accusation here with the Democrats' obvious pandering political stunt, wrapped explicitly in the worst kind of racist identity politics. No. As far as the cultural Marxists of the media are concerned, what they did was great. Okay? Indeed, it was noble. What Nancy Pelosi and Jabba the Hutt and Adler did is so noble. It is upright. It is upstanding, even though, of course, they had a hard time standing, which is rather symbolic of the Democrats if you think about it. So what's going on here? What are the Democrats doing here besides committing political suicide? Well, make no mistake, what the Democrats are doing is they are actively attempting to pander to the black voting constituency, which has been the single most reliable voting constituency of the Democratic Party over the last several decades, since the 1960s, as I understand it. The problem for the Democrats in 2020 is that polls are showing that blacks are ready to defect from the Democrats like never before. Now, last week we did a video on the latest Rasmussen poll that showed 40% of black voters, likely voters, approved of President Trump's job performance, which is an astonishingly high number. And these numbers corroborate other Rasmussen polls in the past that found comparable support for Trump. One poll last year placed the president's approval rating among black Americans at 36%. A previous poll to that found that 31% of blacks approved of Trump's performance, which again is an astonishing number among a constituency that votes 95% Democrat. In fact, Rasmussen found for last year, 2019, Trump's approval rating among blacks continued to rise, no doubt to the excellent economy and job growth numbers. And it's not just Rasmussen that's been noticing this surge in support for Trump among African Americans. An Emerson poll a few months back found Trump's support among blacks to be at 35%, as well as 38% among Hispanics. A Morris poll found Trump's approval around the same time to be at 33% among blacks. And even a CNN poll at the time had Trump's approval among non-white voters at 26%. Keep in mind this, too, from the NAACP Zone poll in August that showed Trump's approval rating at 21% among blacks. Needless to say, a number of articles have been written pointing to the fact that the Democrats are underperforming with the black vote as of 2020. A recent survey found that more than half of black voters feel that the Democrats are not paying close enough attention to the black community. Make no mistake, this is what is behind the Democrats' antics, their political antics of late. This is why the Democrats are bending over backwards for these rioters and protesters in response to the whole George Floyd tragedy. They're pandering because they're seeing one of their single most loyal constituencies actually becoming attracted to President Trump's America First agenda, of which they have been one of the major beneficiaries. Black unemployment under Trump prior to the pandemic had been at the lowest level ever recorded. Blacks, more than any other demographic in the nation, support either severely limiting or ending outright immigration. And of course, they're staunchly against illegal immigration. Blacks are increasingly attracted to Trump's America First agenda, and the Democrats know they cannot survive a significant defection of the black vote politically. So that's why they're doing this. That's why they're embarrassing themselves with all of these cringeworthy pandering antics. But it's not going to work. A new YouGov poll shows that only 16% of Americans actually approve of the Democrats' move to defund the police. And that includes only 33% of blacks in support of the measure. 65% of Americans oppose the measure. 65%, including a majority of black voters. Now, Biden and Pelosi may try to do everything they can to distance themselves from this move to defund and disband the police, but the radicals are in charge of the cities. The Ocasio-Cortez and the Ilhan Omars are increasingly in charge of the parties and the radical wing of the Black Lives Matter movement. So there's very little they can do to reverse this. So make no mistake, the Democrats are indeed committing political suicide here, and no amount of pandering antics are going to save them from themselves. Now, before you go, you will definitely want to check out my latest video I just posted on how even Democrats are admitting that the defund the police movement is destroying their political party and guaranteeing Republican victory in November. It's going to absolutely make your day. So make sure to click on the link, and I will see you over there. God bless.